She's the reason why I am the way I am today. And she's been there every step of the way. She's been with me since the swap meet days. She wasn't my wife at the time, but she was in high school. I just graduated from high school, and we were selling boba out of a little tent and swap meet, wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and make boba and then truck everything there and set everything up and then leave in the hot sun. And she was there when we opened my first boba shop in West Covina. Her entire life was there helping me. She wanted to see me succeed, and she's always been doing that as unconditional. She never asked for anything back.
Well, I love the San Gabriel Valley.
Welcome to the My SGV podcast.
So I grew up here and I still live in Alhambra.
I was raised in between Temple City and Alhambra.
Eventually resided in South San Gabriel.
Our mission is to capture and share the stories of the people of the San Gabriel Valley.
Monterey Park has pretty much been my whole life.
Well, I'm proud to say that I was born and raised in the San Gabriel Valley.
We believe our diversity is what makes the SGV great. And no matter where you are from in the San Gabriel Valley, you will feel welcome. All right, SGVers, welcome back to another episode of the My SGV podcast. Thank you for tuning in. If you are new here, we bring you the stories of the people of the San Gabriel Valley. And if you are a returning listener, thank you so much for spending this time with us. Well, Thomas, I brought my family, right, to your restaurant in the summertime, and my little ones were there. But actually, what stood out to me most were your sauces, dude. the calamansi, mom, and the what's that green sauce that you have?
It's a green goddess, a green vit goddess, I call it, but it's like it's a lime leaf jalapeno or chili sauce that's inspired by like a seafood sauce that I had traveling in Vietnam, where it's always paired with like shrimp or lobster, shellfish.
So is that something you created or you brought back from Vietnam?
I brought those flavors back. Obviously, we added some extra ingredients to make it a little thicker. In Vietnam is more of a watery sauce, so I wouldn't call it a sauce. It's a sauce. Yeah.
So I'm a sauce dude. I'm a big sauce guy, right? So I was like, wow, this is really good. Like the flavor is so unique and unusual and tasty, right? And so, like, if people can get sauces down, I'm like,
yeah. It kind of reminds me of like the Doritos chili verde, like that flavor, that lime flavor.
Okay.
And like the jalapeno flavor. I don't know why, but it just makes me think about that, like my childhood.
Not only does it taste good, but the consistency of it sticks on food, which is like another big thing for me as a sauce person. And then the color, like you can have a great tasting sauce, but if the color is kind of like odd, it throws it off. But the color is so vibrant. So I was like, in all these factors, that sauce like nailed it for me.
Yeah.
I want to go back just to get the sauce. So
you're welcome back anytime.
Yeah. Before we get into your story though, Thomas, I want to thank the sponsors for the show, Paris Baguette. Go check them out in the city of San Gabriel. All the delicious pastries. It's it's hard to choose savory or sweet. I just tried their mochi donut. I didn't think I would be a huge fan of mochi donut, but it's actually really good. So go check them out and say hi to Jason and Joanna for us. He grew up bouncing between schools, bullied, disconnected, even kicked out of the army. But through the chaos, he found clarity, grit, and purpose. Starting with a swap meet boba stand, launched while still in college, he built brand after brand, Loose Leaf and Broth and Gold Banh. Each one rooted in culture, authenticity, and flavor storytelling. He owns up to the years he was absent, knows perfection's not the goal, but being real, responsible, and present for his family, team, and community, that's what matters. That's what drives him every day. Now with 2 kids and his wife by his side, he's not just building businesses, he's building legacy. Please welcome to the show, Thomas Liu. Thomas, welcome.
Hi guys, I'm Thomas. Man, that kind of like takes me back, feeling a little emotional.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's tough, right? Like this is to show you, and sometimes people, they see, your restaurant, they see all this, and they don't know the struggle. Right.
Yeah.
So this is our chance to really get to share that, and so that your friends, your family, your current clients and future clients can get to know, who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just thinking about it, like all those things that accumulated over time. Like, like when you look at someone from the outside, when you meet someone, like or even like successful people, like you only think of their success, right? Like you don't think, what it took for them to get there. And sometimes you wonder, like, hey, did they go through the same things I went through, or are they going through the same things I'm going through? Or those are things that I constantly think about. But when I was younger, I didn't really think about that.
Thomas, this is the My SGV podcast. So let's start with that. What's your connection to the San Gabriel Valley?
Man, I grew up, I was born here. I was born in San Gabriel.
Okay. In the city of San Gabriel.
City of San Gabriel. Yeah, literally the city of San Gabriel. I pretty much lived all over the San Gabriel Valley. So I lived in San Gabriel. I moved to Monterey Park when I was younger. I would say I was about like third grade. Third grade, I went to Bella Vista Elementary. And then I went to Macy Intermediate, which is borderline Monterey Park, Montebello, right? And from there, moved back to San Gabriel, went to Garvey Intermediate. From Garvey Intermediate, I went to San Gabriel High School. San Gabriel High School, then I moved to Roland Heights. Roland Heights, I went to Roland High School, moved back, went to Gavelino High School, and graduated there. And now I live in San Dimas. So I'm pretty much, rooted in San Gabriel, whether it's, the heart of San Gabriel Valley or like the outskirts where I'm at right now.
That's a lot of moving for a young person.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Definitely had to find ways to adapt quick, making new friends. Kind of more like just finding who I am. Like kind of growing up, I had like an identity crisis. I didn't know who I was. Where I can fit in. Especially when I'm a young Asian kid growing up. Like when I went to a predominantly Hispanic Mexican school, I was like the only Asian kid, right?
Is it Macy?
Macy, Bella Vista. At that time, there was probably a handful of Asian kids. But it was funny because I didn't hang out with the Asian kids. I hung out with all the Mexicans, all the Hispanics. My nickname was Noodles. I didn't find it offensive at the time. I was younger. Maybe I was trying to fit in. But, growing up, I'm like, damn, they called me Noodles. Like,
I grew up here too, right? So I think, and I have like, Latino friends. And just for the listener, if you haven't grown up here, it's perhaps like even a term of endearment to have a nickname from your Latino friends, right? It's not like a huge put down. So
no, it's all good.
So you said you didn't know who you were.
I didn't. I was always trying to, like I said, fit in, find ways where people will like me. But man, that's a tough subject.
What does that mean for people to like you? Like, were you like, wanting to be who you thought they would like?
Yeah, like trying to please people, like saying yes all the time, or letting people step on me because hey, I want them to like me, or I want them to be my friend. I remember this one time I was like I would always bring snacks or like money to school, and my friends they would ask me for free snacks or hey, can I have $1, but they would never pay me back, and they would do it all the time. Eventually, I actually never really told them to stop, but deep down inside I'm like, why are they taking advantage of, the stuff that I have and the stuff that I'm bringing to school? But, ultimately it was because, I wanted them to be my friend. I didn't want to say no. I was scared to lose some sort of relationship with the people that I just met or, that I'm trying to develop, because I'm always constantly moving to different schools and places, and finding friendship isn't that easy.
It sounds like you sort of knew you were being taken advantage of, but you just sort of let it happen to hopefully establish something.
Yeah, I mean, at that age when I was young, I didn't really realize that. I think as I got older, it still happened to me. It still happens to me sometimes, where I'm afraid to stand up for myself or let people know that, hey, you can't do this to me, because it's sort of ingrained in my personality sometimes, and always giving people the benefit of the doubt. And as you get older, you start to reflect and you're like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. And when I was younger, yeah, there's those external factors are playing a role on how I react to people. Maybe I'm grown now, right? So I should be able to see or kind of differentiate, hey, is this person manipulating me or walking all over me, or are they actually my friend?
Was there ever a time where you did stand up for yourself in those early years?
No, I don't think so. I actually got bullied a lot. I moved back to Garvey Intermediate. There's a couple kids. I got bullied there. Man.
So for myself, like I know what it's like to feel like people have taken advantage of the best part of me, and that I have to I thought that I had to sort of kill that part of me off to protect myself. What I developed was a better filter. My generosity, my kindness, my giving nature, my empathy, while that was taking advantage of me at one point, those are still my best qualities. And they're still yours, I would imagine. You just give it to those who are deserving. So you were bullied. You were bullied at Garvey?
Garvey up until San Gabriel High School.
Is that why you moved, or?
No, I mean, I was bullied at the same time. My parents, I was getting into trouble as well, I was like...
how were they bullying you? Because you're not a small dude.
I was a scrawny dude in high school. Scrawny dude in 7th and 8th grade. I had glasses, what else?
So what would they bully you for?
Well, I mean, since I moved back to Garvey, it was predominantly Asian. But I mean, prior to that, when I was in Macy, I was bullied, but it wasn't to that intensity where I would go home like, hey, I don't want to go to school, But yeah, Garvey and San Gabriel High School, my 9th grade there, and my 7th and 8th grade at Garvey, it was tough because I would go to school. I remember this guy took my jacket. He's like, hey, let me see your jacket. He takes it off me. He's like, I'm not giving it back to you. This guy took my, what do you call it? PSP, the portable PlayStation. Took my jeans, my shoes.
Same guy?
Different people, but most of them were happening from the same person.
Wow.
Yeah,
Did you tell your parents?
No.
Did you tell anybody?
No. I mean, I don't want to feel like... Well, how would you tell your parents, right? Growing up in an Asian household, right? Things like that. It's, how would my parents handle that situation? My parents worked all the time. At that age, I didn't know how my parents would handle that situation.
Forgive me for saying this, but as a parent myself, I that's my responsibility. That's my responsibility to let my child know that they can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's my fault if they don't feel like they can. So you didn't tell anybody?
No, kept it to myself.
How come you were moving around so often?
Well, my parents wanted me to go to a better school, but they also, wanted to move away from San Gabriel. So we went to Rolling Heights after that. We bought a house in Monterey Park, and that's when I went to Macy. And then the economy, right, was at that time was like a housing crisis or something like that. So them selling a house was prior to 2008, but it was a couple years, and the housing was already starting to go down or something like that. To my knowledge, right? That's what my dad told me. So he sold it. He made a profit. He left, and he saw in 2008. That's when the housing bubble and everything. And then he bought a house because the houses were so cheap in Rolling Heights.
So you're dealing with a lot at Garvey. I actually started at Macy. It sounds like.
Started there, yeah.
Yeah, and then you still didn't tell anybody then.
No.
So you're at Macy, and you're this really freely giving person, and people are taking advantage of you. You can get to Garvey, these things are happening to you. And what happens at San Gabriel?
Same
Even just
thing.
San Gabriel High. Same thing.
Same thing.
Same person?
Same person.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But now you're 14, 15, and have you ever said anything to this person?
No, to this day, no.
What about your friends?
My friends, no. I mean, how can you say it to your friends? I think at that age, it was more I don't want to be weak. I'm not. I don't want to I ain't no Like at that age, that's what your mentality is. You want your friends, like I said, you want your friends to like you, and if they perceive you as someone that's weak or that can't stand up for themselves, like how would they view you as a person?
So, man, how do you avoid the gang culture? Because this is the story of all my friends who entered gang.
You can't. Well, at that point, it's like, hey, I have this group of people, like, hey, we share the same values, and they got my back all the time, and that's how it all starts. And I seen it happen.
Yeah, you had some friends that were in that. Yeah, I mean, because that's very appealing to a young person who feels like that. I know. It sounds like this was all consuming for you, or like, what else did you do as a young person, on your spare time or for fun? Like, who was that Thomas?
When I went to Roland High School, I started smoking weed every day. Well, over there I wasn't bullied. I actually became the bully, right?
That happens too, yeah.
It wasn't that bad where I was like, I made people like cry. It was more like, it's like, hey, like those are some ugly pants. Like I would say some mean stuff to some people, but it wasn't like taking stuff from them or like, like pushing or getting physical with them, But I kind of, after a couple years, I kind of felt guilty. I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm just gonna smoke weed, chill with my friends, break dance, and listen to music.
That wasn't you.
Yeah.
You weren't at heart the bully.
Yeah, but it's just somehow like some of that transferred to me, and then when I went there, I somehow needed that release, But I mean, I felt bad. I still feel bad that whoever I did it to, there wasn't one particular person, but I was pretty much an asshole when I moved there, like the first year.
Wow, that's a huge accountability there, man. It takes a real strong person to say those words and reflect on themselves. So, wow. Okay, so where does your journey go after you went to Roland High School?
Yeah.
Where's your journey go after that?
I signed up for the Army. Yeah, so I was failing all my classes, pretty much failing. I wasn't even doing the homework. Signed up for the Army, and they're like, hey, you got to bring your grades up. I'm like, what do I have to bring it up to? They're like, at least a D. I'm like, oh, that's pretty easy. Just turn in a couple assignments, and I pretty much got everything up to like C. I was like a 2.0 average, except for one class. It was like I had an F. It was geometry, and my teacher. I came in one day with my recruiter and went to my teacher, and the teacher said, "Oh, there's no way you can bring your grade up to a D. Like, it's really bad." And then my recruiter goes, "There's no way. Like, this guy's trying to serve his country. I think this is gonna be really good for him. Sometimes it's not all about school, blah blah blah." And the teacher goes, "If you remember the first 50 digits of pi, and you come back in 3 days, and
no
you do
way.
it in front of the class."
No way.
Yeah.
50.
Yeah. I was like, damn.
Did you do it?
I did do it. I still don't. I don't remember now, but I remember it's like 3.14. No, like
You remember to 50.
yeah. I kind of use like compartmentalization. How does it work?
Dude, that's
word?
crazy. And you went up in class and you recited 5 to 50.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was speechless. Like, he thought I couldn't do it. So, right when I got to the last digit, he just looked at me and was like, "Oh my God!" It's like, this fucker.
Dang, that is crazy. What a story.
Yeah.
So what did he give you a D?
Yeah, he gave me a D.
Wow. Okay, and so then what happens with the Army?
So that was so I can ship out for my junior year, and then come back my senior year and finish off, and then go to is it AI?
Yeah,
AIT? AIT.
Oh, so so in between your junior and senior year, you go to basic, come back, and then okay.
I was supposed to go to MEPS, right? But they delayed my MEPS arrival date to get processed, and because it was late a week, I couldn't get processed to go for basic training. So I had to wait another year. But I did all that for no reason. But it's okay. At least I got my grades up, and I'm becoming a senior. I'm not being held back, or I'm in the proper classes. So the next year, I made sure that I maintain a C average. But that's I already moved back to Gabalino.
Dang. So now a whole new set of friends, whole new school, everything.
Well, thank God there was some people I knew that I went to elementary school with, and my cousins were going there too. Well, I wouldn't say cousins. My cousins were going to school nearby, San Gabriel High School, and I had friends that were going to school at Marquepo. So it was pretty much the same.
So when you got back to Gabrielino, were you still that person that you were, at Rolling Heights?
Yeah. Like upbeat, chill, smoke weed every day.
And then what did you see yourself doing, in life at that time? What did you want to pursue?
Military. I think that was all that was in my head. I would so into it. Like I was trying to get all my friends to join. It would be really cool if you did it. We go to the same training, we go to the same AIT, and then maybe we could get shipped out to someone with the same. And then I would go home. I would watch like war movies.
Dude, what did you watch?
Everything.
Full Metal Jacket?
If there was military, yes, everything. If there was military and there was guns, I watched it.
Dude, I watched Full Metal Jacket like 3-4 times before I went to basic.
Yeah. Well, I actually, when I watched that, I was like, oh shit, actually, maybe I don't want to go.
Me too. Oh man, yeah. That guy was a real drill instructor with the Marines.
Really?
Yeah.
That was great. That's crazy.
Yeah. But you ended up not going.
Yeah.
So what happened there?
So right before my ship date, I was like 4 months before, was doing some petty things. Okay, I broke into a car and I stole their GPS. And there was like a water cache in there, and then we took their hubcaps. I'm thinking like, I want to make a little bit of money. We can sell this stuff, And then we get caught. There was a police officer, undercover police officer car right in front of my house, and they see us unloading the stuff out of the car. And then we pull up to a gas station. We left. We just went to drop off a friend. I swear to God, there was 2 helicopters in the air, and probably not a SWAT team, but it looked like a SWAT team. There was like 5 unmarked black cars, right? And they just pull up, they surround us, and there's AR-15s with lasers pointing inside the car. I'm like, yo, what did we do?
Wow.
Yeah, and then they're like, get out. They're like, put your hands up. Don't make us shoot. Like, don't make any unnecessary movements or whatever. I'm like, oh my gosh, shit's scary. I've never felt that before. Like, I literally thought I was gonna die. Like,
dang. So what happened from that?
Yeah, so we got arrested. Luckily, I was a minor. I got released. My brother was driving the car, so he got in trouble too. But I told police officers, like, hey, it wasn't my brother's fault. I'm the one that did it. But they locked him up for like 3-4 days because he was not a minor. He was 20. And then after that, I went to court, put on probation for 1 year. I cannot ship if I'm on probation. I can't ship out to the Army if I'm on probation. So the judge gave me community service hours. I completed that within a week, right? Because my Army recruiter let me work at the station and complete those community service hours. And they filled it out, and we went to back to the court, and the judge was like, hey, I see that you completed community service hours, and you're also shipping. So instead of your 1 year probation, this whole court case is dismissed. Like, you're not even charged with anything. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay, so we're good to go. So a couple of days before I'm about to leave, they give me a call and they're like, hey, your court is too near the ship date. You can't go. I'm like, fuck. All right, I guess. I just met a girl. I'm going to go hang out with her. And, she became my wife.
So wow. Okay. So they didn't pursue you after that then?
No.
Army?
No.
Before we go on to your story, I sort of want to pull back and I'm just seeing you as a young child experiencing these things at school. There must have been signs, and then you're getting bullied again. There had to have been signs. And then you're smoking weed every day, as you said. There has to be signs. And then it culminates in you doing this and getting arrested, right? Like, How is it that you can go so unnoticed?
I think it was probably the crowd that I was hanging out with.
What was your home life like?
I think my parents wanted to give me a good life. We traveled, went out of the country.
Like, do you get to sit down and be like, "Hey, Mom, this is this is going on."
No.
Dad, I'm struggling with this.
No, not necessarily. I think it was more of a top-down type of like traditional Asian family. I mean, today is totally different. Like my dad and my parents have changed a whole lot. But at that time, I'm the second oldest son. So
what would have happened, in your opinion, if you went to your parents and be like, "Hey, this is going on"?
they were like, "You're a fucking idiot," like
They would say that.
I probably, yeah, they would probably yell at me.
Yell at you.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I think my parents are still learning, and that there's modeling after what their parents would have done in their country, and I think in Western influences is totally different on how they would raise their kids, and they don't view like trauma, right? They don't think trauma or I don't speak for all parents. They don't view trauma as like something like it's important. Like, okay, just get your shit together and fix it. Like that type of shit.
Yeah, but then you're hit in the face with the effects of it.
But today I think over the course, I've talked to my dad. I think and my dad's changed a lot, because you gotta remember, I'm like the second oldest son. So as he started moving down the chain of kids, his openness and his line of communication has opened up more. And also, he's been living in the U.S. He sees how people interact with each other. I think people are more open. They're not necessarily keeping to themselves as much. As a parent, like it's good to be open to receive, rather than just, hey, what I say is what goes, or hey, what's happening to you is just part of it. You just gotta pick your shit up and fix it. Like,
God, as a parent myself, number one thing that I want is my kids to come to me when they're in trouble. Number one. If they can't, that's my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think my dad. I think my dad wants me to go to him, wanted me to go to him, but I think it was his approach or his responses that probably pushed me away from wanting to tell him. My dad helped me a lot. Like if even when I was, like I got in trouble, breaking into a car, he hired a lawyer, like cost $5,000-$6,000, no questions asked, bailed my brother out, no questions asked. But at the end of the day, I think it's the approach on how his response, where I don't want that response from him, and maybe that's why I don't want to tell him, and and that's why I'm keeping things from him.
It's how you do it in the smaller things that will allow your kids to feel safe with the big things. The small things matter, right? You dropped something on the floor. You broke this brand new toy that I got you. You're late to whatever. Those things matter. Those things tell your kids, hey, it's safe to come here. Now, when this big thing happens, I'm gonna feel okay to come to you.
Yeah.
And it's not even just in the words; it's in the facial expression, the body language, the deep sighs, all those things that the kids pick up on. Okay, it's not really safe to come to mom or dad. Thank you for sharing that part of your journey, Thomas.
Yeah.
Before we go on, we ask each guest to bring an item with them. What did you bring with you today?
I brought a book.
Okay.
It's called. Do I show it to the camera?
Yeah. Show this one here.
It's called Conscious Capitalism, but it's not really about the book, right? It's about what's in here.
Okay.
I use it as a bookmark. It's a picture of me and my wife when we got married. Yeah, this is when we got married. I was 20 and she was 19. I think that the reason why it's item of significance. I think this marked like the turning point of who I'm starting to become. I grew up with a lot of problems, and because of her, like right now I'm changing, and I'm always changing. I'm still changing. I still suffer from like have a drinking problem. I had a drinking problem. I still kind of do, working on it. I used to drink every single day. I started in high school. I wasn't drinking every day yet. And then when I was like 18, 19, going to parties, I was drinking every day. I was working at my dad's shop. We were fixing cars. And at the end of the night, we were drinking Heineken. And I was just there. I was drinking Heineken with him pretty much every single day because I worked there every day. I got used to drinking every day. It was a way for me to mask my pain. Not pain as in like, all of, at that age, I didn't know what I wanted to do, right? Like I was struggling to find things to do. I didn't know what purpose, I think drinking was my escape at that time, at least what I've come to the conclusion of. From then on, I think I used drinking as an escape. Like every time I had problems or arguments, I was drinking. I would get into really bad arguments with my girlfriend, who's my wife now. And sorry.
You don't have to apologize.
Man. I didn't know talking about this stuff can get so touchy. Oh.
She means a lot to you.
She does. She's the reason why I am the way I am today, as of today. She pushed me to be a better person. Like without her, like I probably wouldn't even try and stop drinking, right? Or before her, I wouldn't even try to stop smoking weed or doing drugs or whatever it may be. I have 2 kids now. It's like I wouldn't know what I would do without her. Like she challenged me to accomplish, not doing drugs anymore and not smoking weed anymore. I don't even smoke cigarettes anymore. I used to smoke a pack a day. And the last thing that I'm still almost barely holding on to is the drinking part. And she's been there every step of the way. She's been with me since the swap meet days when she wasn't my wife at the time, but she was in high school. I just graduated from high school, and we were selling boba out of a little tent and swap meet. Wake up at 3:00 in the morning and make boba, and then truck everything there and set everything up, and then leave in the hot sun. And she was there when we opened my first boba shop in West Covina. Her entire life was there helping me, achieving something. It wasn't what she wanted, right? But she wanted to see me succeed, and she's always she's always been doing that. And it was unconditional, she never asked for anything back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, Thomas.
No problem.
It sounds like she sees you and sees who you are. I've shared this on the show before, that being known, being seen is what love really is. Someone who truly sees you, who sees all of you and knows who you are and loves you anyway. That's love, right? And as you're sharing your story and I ask you these questions, I don't see people who saw you, who saw Thomas growing up, who saw that little boy getting bullied, who saw that boy starting to change, who saw that boy starting to become something that he wasn't. And then for someone to come along and see you, dude.
Yeah.
Life-changing.
Yeah.
Wow. So she's been there with you this whole time.
Yeah.
What is your wife's name?
Jasmine.
Jasmine.
Yeah.
Is she also Vietnamese?
She's Chinese. Our parents are born in Vietnam.
Nice. Thanks for bringing that in.
No problem.
She's been with you for a while. How long have you guys been married?
12 years.
Wow. So you kind of moved on to the, you guys are doing swap meet, selling boba and stuff. And did you have some success with that?
It did. It was fun. I think we were selling on the weekends, Saturday, Sunday, Nogales High School. It was cool. What I really fell in love with is the culture behind it. I think it was before boba blew up. Boba was already here, right? Within the Asian community, within SGV, it's always been a thing. But in certain pockets of SGV, boba hasn't really caught ground yet. So Nogales High School, right, predominantly Filipino and Hispanic, in that area, there wasn't really any boba shops there, and a lot of people didn't know what boba was yet, right? This is Instagram and everything just barely came on. Smartphones barely started putting up videos and things like that. It was more pictures and things like that. We would get customers. They would come up like, "What is boba? Is it a fruit? Or is it berries?" I'm like, "It's starch balls. It's a lot of carbs, So what is this purple drink?" And then I'll have to say in Spanish, I'm like, "It's camote con leche," or how much is this? $1.50. We were selling it for $1.50.
Dang.
Yeah. Well, we made like $500-$600 a day. But it's funny because after we make all that, during the swap meet, Jasmine would be like, "What the hell are you bringing back?" Because I'll trade like drinks for like a pot of plants.
Oh.
She's like, "What is it?" "It's a chili plant. I love chilies. I love spicy. So I'll eat like habaneros like when I'm bored." So I'll be walking with a chili plant back to the booth. He's like, "What the hell are you like? What?" I fell in love with teaching people of what boba is and the culture behind it. When people ask me, "Oh, is it tea with milk?" I'm like, "Yes, tea with milk is really good." It's like Taiwanese inspired.
So you had success at the swap meet, and then you opened a brick and mortar.
Yeah. I think that's how I fell in love with hospitality, was through the swap meet. I love seeing people grab a drink, right, and they'll drink it. They're like, "Hey, this is so good." Like seeing something that you made make someone's day.
But not only that, they were giving you money for it. And that sort of is like validating its worth.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this because of, your story before. You doing all these things and no one is ever maybe even saying thank you or appreciative, but what a turnaround now. Now you're educating, you're giving them a product and the money is like validating.
You know what? I never really thought about that. I think you just opened up like, wow. That's pretty cool. That's a whole new perspective that I will probably look at it like that now. Yeah, I mean, even with that, like I love giving things, or not giving things, like making things and giving things to people, and I like it when they smile, or like they're happy. It just makes me feel good.
So you had success at the swap meet, and then you opened a brick and mortar in, is it Covina?
West Covina.
West Covina,
first store.
What was that like?
Opening that first store was rough. Honestly, like a 20-year-old kid.
But you made enough money at the swap meet to open the store.
We had a little bit of money saved up. I mean, we spent most of it on Korean barbecue after the swap meets. but we had some. I think my dad saw something in me. I was very passionate about what I was doing, and he lent me some money and helped me out. We put in a little bit of money too, but I mean, how much money can boba make at a swap meet? Like how much money can we really save up? My dad didn't lend money to any of his kids. He gave it to me, but obviously he saw that, hey, I was willing to grind for it. I was doing it every freaking weekend. It was something that I was willing to do. I had someone who can help me, my partner, Jasmine, and he saw that, these two work together, and it's probably going to work out. It wasn't that simple after, but yeah, I mean, getting to that store in West Covina was really hard. I actually didn't even apply for that store. I actually tried to get into ELAC. Right across the street, there's a shopping center. We put in an application. It got rejected. I visited their office. Like, "Hey, why'd you reject me?" Like, "There's not enough credit history, and you don't have enough money." I'm like, damn. Because I'm 20 years old. Who's going to rent a space and then let them perform construction work on it, right, to a 20-year-old kid? What kind of experience you have? "Oh, we were selling out of a swap meet." And I found this place. I was already going to give up. I was like, "Dude, I'm just going to work for my dad. We're going to do some oil changes. Maybe I'll take over his shop one day." That was going to be it. A couple of weeks went by. I was like, I'm just going to go on Craigslist, see if there's any open spots. And I saw Hong Kong Plaza, West Covina. I'm like, ooh, used to be a Subway's. I'm like, okay. So I called them toward the spot, and they're like, "Yeah, we can rent it to you." I'm like, "For real?" I'm like, "Yeah." They didn't even ask for like assets or like, what kind of, what your home price was, how much mortgage, like a lot of places would ask that, they want to see, okay, if you went out of business, can I sue you for all your money, But this place didn't ask that. They just ran a simple credit check, and you make your deposit, and that was pretty much it. And then we got the space. It was rough getting it up because we hired a contractor. It's a cheap contractor, like 30 grand, right? $30,000 to basically demo the whole place and build it into something. If you ask me, that's like unheard of, but that's why it also took like 8 months to finish. Yeah, it was pretty much like a 3 person show, but a lot of stuff were Mickey Mouse. I actually had to bring in friends to help finish the work, so we were like busting ass like from morning to night, like putting up vines and staining the wood and sanding the floors and doing all that stuff. I mean, it was fun, but it was rough getting it to opening, and then after opening, it was even rougher, if that's a word.
You got some education too with that. You paid a lot. You learned a lesson, and you got some hands-on experience.
I still made the same mistake again after that.
Oh man. Oh man. Well, I want to get into how you went from there to what you're doing now, but let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Sometimes, even the best of us can slip up. That's why the law offices of Scott Wormuth are here to pick you back up again.
And while they strive to get you the biggest compensation possible, oh my God.
Their main concern is your health and recovery. They work closely with doctors and insurance companies to make sure you get the proper medical treatment.
Initial consultations are free, so give them a call.
At the law offices of Scott Wormuth, we're with you all the way.
I'm Scott Wormuth. We've been fighting for your rights for more than 40 years.
All right, we're back with Thomas. Thomas, before the break, you were telling us about your $30,000 experience with these contractors.
Don't do it.
Before we move on to your story, though, we'd like to ask questions from this deck of cards called Icebreakers when we get back from the break. And it's just a fun way for the audience to get to know both of us a little bit better. So here we go. What's the thing you like that creeps other people out?
Oh, shit.
I'll answer first. Like, have you seen those videos on social media? It's like they're removing like a ingrown toenail.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It looks so painful and cringe, but like I cannot watch it.
When this is the weirdest shit. Wait, can I cuss?
Yeah, it's okay.
This is the weirdest thing. When I walk by like not a sewer, but like like those storm drains.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll walk by a storm drain and there's that smell that comes out of storm drains. Sometimes I'm like, dude, I know it smells bad, but like,
you like that smell?
It's kind of like comforting.
Okay.
It's weird.
Maybe it's tied to some memory.
Or it's like palm olive, like the floor cleaner.
Yeah.
Like if I smell it in a restroom, like I kind of like want to like I wonder if I just put my nose on it. Like,
what? Okay. Well, awesome. Well, some people like stinky tofu, and I'm like, I don't get that, man. But
it's fire. I love.
You like stinky tofu?
Yeah.
Really?
Durian, stinky tofu, all the stinky stuff. Cheese.
I can do stinky cheese. Like I can do blue cheese, all that. But
I couldn't do stinky cheese for a while, but I think like taste, but after a while, like it's an acquired taste. I think with stinky food, stinky tofu and like durian, it's also an acquired taste. I think over time, if you expose yourself more to it,
Did you like it the first time you tried it? Durian and stinky tofu?
Yes.
You did?
Yes. The first time I had stinky tofu was at Shilai Temple. It was a Chinese
Hacienda Heights.
Yeah, Hacienda. Chinese New Year. They don't have it anymore because it scares a lot of the white people away. Okay. So it's just regular tofu now.
Okay.
But yeah, at that time they had stinky tofu, and my dad bought it, and I would always see it like being mentioned. I grew up watching TVB, where you guys don't know, it's like Hong Kong drama, and they would always talk about stinky tofu. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try this. Like I ate them. Like, oh, it's pretty good. It's like crispy, a little stinky, like a little stinky breath after.
Oh man.
Wash it down with some like pickled cabbage.
Man, okay. I'm sorry. I don't know that I'll ever try it. I don't know.
Durian, I grew up eating that, but it's funny. Like, if I don't know it's durian, I'll be like, "What the fuck is that smell?" But if I see it, I'm like, "Oh, actually, it smells good." But like, like sometimes my grandma would be like eating at home. I'll walk in, I'm like, "Yo, there's a gas leak," It's not. I'll catch her eating it. I'm like, "Oh, it's not a gas leak."
I think we have this repulsion to certain smells for a reason, and that's to warn us. So, if you're watching or listening, what's the one thing that you like that creeps people out? Let us know in the comments.
I want to know. I'm going to read it.
So, Thomas, back to your story. So how do you eventually end up, getting to where you are now? How did you make that transition?
So I was going to school full time during my West Covina store. When it was up and running, I was going to school full time. But I was, while I was going to school full time, I was also working there full time. It got really hard to manage. Like I said, I was drinking a lot. I was doing drugs. I was doing drugs for a while. Like I did some bad drugs. I'm allowed to talk about drugs on it?
Yeah. Like ecstasy?
We were doing coke.
Okay.
We did cocaine every single day.
Every day?
Every day. First 2 years of that store running. And I was drinking everything. But I also was going to school. And my wife didn't know because I would hide it from her. And then eventually I told her, I'm like, hey, I think I have a problem. I think I'm addicted to this.
Dang, what was that conversation like?
It was rough. I remember that night I came home. I was so drunk, but I was like, I gotta tell her. Like, I don't think I can do this by myself. Everyone else is doing it. It's all around me, and that was the thing keeping me working too. Like late, because we would close at 11 or 12 midnight. I'd go to school during the day. Yeah, and she's like, I think her whole world came crashing down. Like, wow, my husband's doing this. Like, he's addicted. And she just gave me an ultimatum, like, hey, either you stop or I leave you. And I'm like, shit, I got 2 kids now, and I can't picture, at that moment, actually, I couldn't picture my life without it. I think that's a sign of addiction, right? When you can't picture yourself living without it, or like a future with you without it. But then at that instant, I'm like, when she told me that, I'm like, damn, actually, I gotta make sure I can see myself without it in the future. I slowly stopped doing it. I was the worst withdrawals in the world. But I used that motivation, like my wife, my kids, and my future. Like, there's no point in me going to school and trying to make a career out of boba or restaurants and all that stuff if, one day I'm gonna get a heart attack, or one day I'm gonna die from drug overdose or drinking too much. And so I kind of use that motivation to help me stop. My friends started leaving. The ones that work with me, right? They started leaving. The ones that were, we all did it together. So I had less exposure to that, and eventually it got easier. I started focusing more in school. I got straight A's in school. Made honor roll on my graduation date. So I went from failing in high school, right, to honor roll by the end of my college career. And during that college, when I was in college, I was like, hey, I'm a step away from BYOB, which is the store that we were running in West Covina. And I'm going to start my own brand. I was like, I'm going to let my mom handle this one. She can do whatever she wants, but she now owns it and she runs it. I'm going to do my own brand. I'm going to call it Loose Leaf, because I saw that, boba is moving in a direction where it's kind of like third wave coffee is. And I wanted to do something similar where we highlight the cultural significance of what boba is while using quality ingredients and, trying to make it a craft, rather than using powders and syrups. I'm like, why don't we turn this into an art, truly something passionate, kind of like the fine dining or a more upscale version of boba. Because, if you go to a boba shop, they're just throwing powders in there and they're charging you $4. Why can't we make our own syrups and make our own things? I think we were, I won't say the first, right, but we were one of the few boba shops out there that were doing it.
So you let your mom take over, and how did you eventually get to Broth and Gold Banh?
I love food. I love cooking. It all started from the swap meet, right? The feeling of having someone enjoy your creation, and also communicating and creating dialogue of the cultural significance of things and bringing people together. Like it when people learn about my culture. And I also like to learn about other people's culture, and oftentimes I learn it through food. When I was younger, I had a lot of Mexican friends, and also had a lot of white American friends, and they would always invite me to their house, and I always got to, enjoy and their style of cooking. Because up until then, the only cooking I knew was my grandma and my mom's cooking. It was Asian food. And, you know, they would tell me, like, oh, yeah, this is the tortilla. This is how you eat this. Oh, this is menudo. I'm like, ooh, menudo. You know, stinky stuff. I like stinky stuff. And they would tell me, like, the significance, or when they would make this. This is during the holidays. You know, this is what you make during the holidays. I'm like, oh, it's so cool. And I was one of the few that had a computer back in the day. I had a computer, I had internet access, and I loved using Ask Jeeves back in the day, Ask. And I just learned about like food, culture, and it's remind me, I'm just like a 4th and 5th grader. Like, you know, searching all these things. I would print out articles and read them. You know, I just love learning about people through food, and that's when I was doing the boba. Loose leaf, right? Long Beach, the new one. I was like, you know, I really want to do food, but I didn't know when. It just, you know, I knew it was going to be in the future, but I didn't know when.
How did you end up, you know, getting that space and opening up there?
I opened another boba shop, another store, Loose Leaf in Santa Ana. There was an opening, and I always wanted to do pho. I'm like, hey, you know, everybody loves pho. It was a free spot, like literally free. Like you can go there. Minimal investment, all the kitchen equipment is there. I'm like, fuck it, let's do it. You know, like, well, what do I have to lose? Well, I wasn't really thinking. I'm like, dude, there's a lot to lose. You got to do payroll, you got taxes. I'm like, shit. But yeah, anyways, I just went in all in, and we put up TV menus. I'm like, it's just a fun menu. And then I asked my wife, Jasmine's mom, right, my mother-in-law. I was like, hey, you want to invest with me? I asked my dad, you want to invest with me? Let's do this pho place. And then me and my mother-in-law, we had like a little cook-off. We were like trying to see who could make the best pot of pho. Well, ultimately, everybody said that, you know, my pho is better. And not to say her pho is not good, but, you know, yeah. So we used my recipe, we opened it up. And, you know, it was kind of slow in the beginning. Like, oh, okay, there's no one really coming here to get my pho or eat it. And you know, I realized, damn, like this soup sucks. I don't have any, like, restaurant experience. I'm not a chef. I'm a YouTube chef. You know, I YouTube University, the whole thing. Same with my drinks. Everything was, you know, trial and error. So I realized that soup ages, like broth ages on the stove, right? You can't have it sit on the stove for more than a couple hours. Otherwise, the color changes, the flavor changes. It can go sour. What I started doing was started making all the soups fresh. So we would make the bone broth, right? Braise it for cook it for 24 hours, and then freeze or refrigerate just the plain bone broth. And then from then we would make the final broth and put in our spices and everything. And that is made every 2 to 3 hours. The flavor doesn't change. Because I remember this one time I gave this bowl of pho to a customer. I was like, why the hell does it look like soy sauce? It was because the soup was oxidizing.
So you said it was bad, but I had your pho, and it was really good. And this is, you know, I've grown up all over SGV. I've gone to all the different pho shops. I went there and I didn't know what to expect. I was like, okay, it's in this, you know, marketplace. It's not really just like the hole in the wall pho. You're a younger generation. You know, I grew up eating pho 79. Like these, you know, Vietnamese came here 1979, and it was legit good.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, I'm trying to do everything the right way. You know, like some places. I don't want to bash on places, but you know, some places use like chicken bouillon or like artificial beef flavor. I wanted to create something clean. You know, like, all right, how to get the maximum flavor without putting all these additives in there. And that was the same philosophy across all the brands that I created. You know, how do I use, you know, not like the pre-packaged stuff or the can or pre-mixes. Like, how do I make everything from scratch? And I think I find joy in doing that because it challenges you to figure out ways to make something taste good that is not supposed to taste good because it's natural.
Yeah.
You know, like natural things aren't as appealing as artificial things.
I disagree. I can always tell in food when it's not either fresh or natural. But my family seeks that out.
Yeah.
Right. So we can really tell like, something's off here.
Yeah. I would say so. But like for example, right? Like milk tea, right? Made with non-dairy creamer.
No thanks.
No thanks, but it's creamy, right? It makes it more velvety. Like it doesn't taste as good as milk, but it still drives your pleasure center. Like this is like something you would come back for.
See, well, when I taste your sauces, though, right? Like I'm tasting all that you describe in there, like quality ingredients. You know, really caring about this stuff, caring about the look and appearance. Like I knew it. I was like, for sure, this guy cares about this stuff, because if you care about the sauce, you care about all the other things. How you do the things, the small things, is how you do everything, right? So I was like, yeah, for sure, I can tell it right here.
Oh man, you don't want to see my bed when I wake up. I don't do my bed. Yeah, yeah. How you do the little things, how you do everything.
So beyond that though, like when I first came across your stuff, I was like, oh, okay, here's a business owner, a restaurant owner, where I get to see his personality on social media, and you don't always get that, right? So how did you start doing that? How did you start showing your personality, your lightheartedness, your comedy? How did you start doing that online?
I was always a goofy kid, I just didn't show it as much when I was little, but as I grew older, I kind of embraced it. And I went to acting school when I was younger too. I wanted to be an actor.
Okay.
Yeah, I auditioned for quite a few stuff. Phil of the Future, I auditioned for that. It was like a Disney show. Auditioned for some Nickelodeon shows. I didn't make it. I wasn't really. I wouldn't say I wasn't good, but I don't think they were looking for a face like mine during that time. But I made it into some commercials. I did some Chinese commercials, JCPenney commercials. So I love the camera.
You love the camera?
Love the camera.
Okay. Well, I'm glad, because we did a skit, and I was like, you need to be in, front facing here.
Yeah. Then I was off the camera for a little while, right? So I was going through high school and the upper part of middle school. There was no more cameras. So I became shy after a little bit, because when you're away from it, you kind of lose it. So, but I always still had that thing like, hey, I still want to be in front of the camera. I still want to talk, but, I never really got the opportunity to. So, like, after high school, after everything, social media became a thing. That was like years later. And now with Loose Leaf, and I started becoming more in front of the camera, and I started being more comfortable, and then I started enjoying it more. Started doing lots of interviews, and and I became more comfortable speaking most of the time, right? But sometimes if you're in a public setting and there's a camera and there's people walking around, it's harder to speak.
Okay, now I can see that. So talk about Gold Banh. So how did that come about?
Gold Banh. So
let me back up.
Okay.
You innovated some stuff too, like the pho dip sandwich, which I'd never seen before.
Yes.
And I was like, this is brilliant. Of course I want to dip my sandwich into pho broth.
so Ann Broth in Santa Ana. I was traveling a lot for Loose Leaf, right? Because we had some franchising stores in the East Coast. First time going to New York. Second time. Because the first time I was too young to remember. So let's consider it the first time. I was in New York, and we went to this place called Katz, right? Katz Deli. Very famous for their sandwiches. They sell this massive $26 sandwich. It's actually a half sandwich. So they slice the bread in half, and they give you a half sandwich of pastrami, but it's thick.
$26.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah. So my sandwiches compared to that is cheap. So yes, but the pastrami is thick cut, and I believe they use New York navel. So it's beef belly. It's so juicy. I was like, this is like the best pastrami I've ever had. If you ever once you have the pastrami, you can't go back to any other pastrami. Like you'll eat like the Hat or like Langer's, you'll be like, oh, hell no. Like I can't eat that. Like it's because they cut it thin, right? And it's not like juicy and nice like theirs. And if you tip them, they'll actually make it more juicy for you. But they have to see you tip them. So I got that idea. I'm like, dude, pastrami is very similar to pho in a way, because it's at the end product is pastrami is steamed to get that soft and tenderness. Most places it should be steamed, right? Unless they're cutting it dry. And I'm like, dude, we can do that with pho. Like we can cook the brisket, which is already cooked in the pho broth. We can cook it again, or cool it down, slice it, and then recook it in the original broth, and then reduce the pho broth in with the brisket, and then add it to a sandwich and add all the popular fixings that go into pho, like lots of scallions and lots of cilantro and basil and Vietnamese garlic aioli, some hoisin sauce, and and we'll slap it on rye bread. Why go with the traditional banh mi French roll? Slap it on rye bread. Just like the pastrami on rye. And that's how we came up with the sandwich. I was like, you know what? And I had it. I was like, dude, this is good. During the cook-off, I'm like, look, everybody, try this. See if this works. They're like, actually, it is pretty good. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna add it to the menu then. No one ordered it. I was like, it was on the menu. I was like, for sure someone's gonna order. No one ordered it. No one. It's just funny. Like sometimes like you think certain ideas will work, and maybe it will work. It just takes someone to order it, but no one orders it. No one's gonna know. Weeks went by, and Food Beast came by. I'm not sure if you guys don't know Food Beast. They do primarily food. They cover food, and they came by and like, hey, we want to shoot your pastrami, the pho brisket on rye. I'm like, really? Like, you don't want to shoot our pho? Like, no, I think that one's more interesting. I'm like, no one ordered it. You sure you want to shoot that? But they shot it, and then boom. The next day, I woke up. I was looking. I'm like, damn, 1 million views. Shit, we don't have enough bread.
1 million views.
Yeah.
And people were coming, like, lining up out the door.
Yeah. And then I was like, 2 million views. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, we definitely don't have enough bread. So you got the store. With the second day, it was a line like out the door. We only had about 30 sandwiches.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. And the next day, I'm like, dude, we got to go get more bread. Like, we load up our whole truck full of bread. Went to the store. We still didn't have enough. We sold out. The wait was like 2 hours. We got so many bad reviews saying that, damn, the wait was so long. I'm like, dude, if only I could predicted it. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, you had to wait 2 hours.
Yeah.
Our kitchen's so small.
Yeah.
And yeah. And we couldn't keep up. So there were certain days where we had to sell out. I'm like, hell, we don't have enough meat.
That was a good problem, though.
It was a good problem. But I think it would have gone a little farther if we were able to sustain that, and then kept going. Over time, I think people kind of gave them like, damn, they're always sold out.
Oh.
But now we just have a constant, a steady influx of people that come and get it. A lot better than lines of people, right?
Yeah.
Hordes of people trying to get it. So
awesome. Yeah, congratulations on that. Thomas, in the interest of time, because we got to sort of move on, we're going to move on to the last segment of the show where we get to learn what you like to eat in the San Gabriel Valley. So, Thomas, this is the SGV3, and you're a restaurateur, but you like food as well, or you love food, as you said. So what's your 3 favorite places to eat in the SGV?
Oh, man, I like to eat San Gam Gay. So it's a chi chow noodle shop.
Where is that at?
It's they have multiple locations. They have one in Rosemead on Garvey, right across from right next to the City Hall, Rosemead City Hall, across from Full Pasture.
Okay.
Next to between 2 hot pot places.
And what do you like to get there?
Can I speak Chinese?
Yeah.
It's the Jiu Pai Gong Lo Mu Yi Dan. So it's basically the house special egg noodles, dry soup on the side, no fish balls, add extra chicken, and then we get like wontons on the side.
Dang, okay, that sounds good.
Yeah. You gotta get the Jin Go, which is the Bo Jin, which is Vietnamese. It's a rice cake, fried rice cake on a wok, and then they put eggs. It's like an egg omelet, and then we pour like vinegar on top. Very good.
That's awesome review. Awesome. Okay, we definitely go check that out. Say the name one more time.
The name's called San Gam Gay. So in English, it's Kim Ki Noodle House.
Oh, okay.
Not the KIMKY, KIMKEE.
Yeah, I learned that in the SGV, the places that start with Kim are all Chu Chow. Yeah.
Chu Chow, yeah, and Chu Chow Vietnamese.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a second place?
You know what? Second place would be Halam Gay.
Okay, what's that?
So the old school of all wonton noodle shops, it's in the Square Market. There's a little food court in there it's been there forever. I know they changed owners recently, but the recipe is still the same. So it's a noodle shop, Hong Kong noodle shop.
And the name again?
Harlem Kitchen. That's the English name.
And where is it located?
Inside the Square Market in Rosemead food court.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you like to get there?
Wonton mein, so wonton noodles. So I speak Cantonese too. So
is it always like pork and shrimp?
Pork and shrimp, or the Cantonese style, yes.
Okay. Dang. Okay, so 2 places I really want to go check out now.
Yeah.
Like better than Samwoo wonton mein.
Oh, better. The broth is a lot lighter. At Harlem Gate. So I recommend it. I've been going there as since I was a kid, and I remember growing up, that place is always packed with people. Yeah, it's still kind of busy during lunchtime.
Okay, and one more spot.
Obviously, my restaurant. Hello.
Okay, okay, yeah. Well, and what are your favorite things to eat there? Which one though?
I would say Broth. I could say we have pretty good pho. I don't want to sound biased, but our pho is pretty up there. You can look at our reviews.
And what's your favorite thing for you to eat there?
I honestly like just a pho and you know what? I take that back. We have this pho called pho tai lang, which is meat that's stir fried with onions and green onions and garlic, black pepper. We stir fry it on a wok to give it that smoky flavor, give a little caramelization on the meat. And we put it over the fresh pho noodles, and we pour hot soup over it. And it's super rich because we don't just stir fry it in like seed oils or anything. Like it's stir fried in like marrow oil, like the beef oil, the tallow, and that tallow has collected all the flavors of the spices and the onions and the ginger. Like anything, it's not like anything in this world. It is an actual dish in Vietnam though. It's a very popular northern style way of eating pho. So that's actually one of my favorite dishes, and it's actually one of our top sellers.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah.
and so if people want to check out, your restaurants, where do they go, or check you out online too?
Our restaurant is in City of Glendora in the Glendora Public Market. You can follow us at and.broth or at Gold Banh.
Yeah. Awesome. Thomas, I really appreciate you coming today and sharing your story with us and letting the listeners get to know you, on a deeper level. And I really appreciate that. Thank you for your vulnerability and your authenticity.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys got a little, feel a little inspired. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for being here, Thomas.
Thank you, Russell.
There you go, another episode in the books. I hope you got something from this episode. If not anything, just someone's journey is never completely known to us. And Thomas was brave enough to share, some of the things that he went through, the difficulties, and he was really vulnerable in that. And I hope that it resonates with some of you and the struggles that maybe you've gone through or are going through today. And so that you guys can know that there's, something more to look forward to. And there's always someone there who can come alongside you and see you and be that rock of support, like Thomas's wife is to him. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to like and share. And you can check out our full catalog of episodes on our website, mysgv.net. And if you haven't already, please check out mysgvfoodpassport.com and get yourself a food passport. They're amazing. We've sold over 1,000 so far, and we're only in month 3. So go check them out, mysgvfoodpassport.com. And until next week, we'll see you then. Thank you for joining us on the MySGV podcast. Check out more of our content on our website, mysgv.net. This show was produced by Scott Wormuth, directed by Russell Mano, edited by Victoria Allers, and original music by Yone OG. If you'd like to join us next week as we capture and share more stories from our diverse community, feel welcome.
Nice mother. No, kind of mother.